I'm going to say is that thank goodness my shop has best of both worlds, and neither one of them are going to ever fail. But I could probably put a lot of people on a fly rod, and they put down their bait world for a while. But it's sometimes more economical, but not always. I bought a fly shop because I started tying, and it doesn't necessarily save, but it also brings some satisfaction to your game. I've always said that if you hunt, and most of us in this area in Pennsylvania hunt, we rifle hunt. And there's always a kind of a escalation for hunting. You know, you start rifle hunting, and then you start, there's this archery next, and then after you get archery, then next is like muzzleloader type deal, because now we were just, it's just like, well, no, I don't want to climb a tree stand anymore, but I don't want to shoot, I don't want to just shoot a rifle anymore, but muzzleloader is a whole new game, right? So but it's still shooting, you got to be close, now I got to be stealth. It tests my skills, so now I actually have to hunt. So that's where fly fishing becomes the archery of fishing. It's not to say that there isn't other needs in every other aspect. That there's that to troll, to be a professional troll, that sounds really funny, to be a professional troller, but in fishing, to be a professional troller, to do that, for me to go on and pull up at a boat, and you're not catching a fish with me. Not even a little bit. There's certain things that you're not going to do with me that I'm pulling up with Randall, and we're going fishing all day.
I got you.
I know, right? So I know who to call in those times of need, but I'm calling for. I know who to call whenever there's certain aspects of the fishing world. There's niches, and so it doesn't mean that I can't learn, but it's just those things that's a specialty. I guess there's a matter of you're not a professional because you put a bunch of time into learning something how to do it right. Mm-hmm. You put a bunch of time into learning how to do it wrong. And that's about it. And you just keep learning how to do it wrong, because even after you find out how to do it right, you still weren't necessarily it's not the fact that you did it right, you're still gonna have a new way to do it. You're never gonna be able to walk up on a stream and do it the same way twice. You're never gonna be able to walk up into a lake and have it the same atmosphere, the same pressure, the barometrics is not gonna be the same. The weather, the depth, nothing's going to be the same twice. So ever having the ability to say, I'm a professional, you're just learning. As soon as you start walking into the stream or the boat that day, you're walking into the moment, you're walking into the classroom, that moment. And if you didn't study the day before, the moment before at all, if you didn't have any input, any thought of what I should be doing, you can call Randall and go, hey, how do I troll? And you can call me up and go, hey man, what should I do with this fly rod? And you show up and then you get disappointed, and then you don't like it, but it can be one of the most effective ways for you to fish, and you could enjoy it, and it's just another arsenal for you to be able to do, because now there's a muzzleloader season, now there's archery season, now there's rifle season. Now there's all these different seasons in the hunting world. Now I can throw a plane board. I can fly fish off a boat. I can do so many things with my desire to catch a huge lake trout that I normally would need to be pulling in my big old rod, and if you pull in a lake trout with a fly rod, you're gonna tell somebody. I don't care who you are.
Fact.
You're gonna tell somebody. I mean, just legit, just a fact. I'm gonna tell somebody. If I pull in a lake trout with a spin rod, I'm telling somebody anyway. But just in general, because it's a fish. When I'm a fisherman, so we're gonna tell a story, right? So, but there is something about, it does something, it's cool, because the way you'd have to do it, that you would be so engaged, you would be, first, one, you're gonna need to know where we're at, you're zoning in, you go there, and so now we're in, now there's you're gonna have to be stripping, and one, at that zone, you could be off a boat, you could be zoning in off the shore because they're coming and feeding and they're bait fishing, and you could just be all over, and you're just stripping off because you see one coming, and somebody's even gotten into and now you don't even know, but you stop, and then and all of a sudden now, and you're just trying to hold on for dear life, and you're running your backing out, and now we're just working it maybe the whole way through, and now you got a fight on your hands. And now we have a netter. Now we got, you better land this. Like, this is all I'm telling you. Like, because this thing has run my gears out like twice because it's got it in now. And now you got to, I mean, it's going to change your entire perspective because you got to keep tension on it because it'll change you. You know, it's almost like your heart's racing whenever you see a 10-point walking through the door. Just, what's up? How we doing? I'm just here. You know what I mean? It's just, there's just a moment about it. So, that's kind of if you didn't ever think about fly fishing for lake trout or even getting into tribs, because there are tons of, even though they are stock sometimes, there are so many wild browns, natives in those 21 miles and even in the tribs that are below it. They stock it as getting to them is that easy access. And bass fishing with a fly rod is summertime, you know, let's say a smallmouth is a summer, trout fisherman's summer love, hands down. Top water is definitely a fun thing. There's so much to do in the fly world with a bigger lure, a bigger rod, that can change your perspective of what fly fishing is. There's no, it's not just like, oh, I gotta be out there with a little bug and just float it down the stream. It's now, I'm gonna catch every fish that I've ever been catching with a different rod, that's all. You know what I mean? I have a different gun, I bought a different boat, I have a different manner in which I'm going fishing. My specialty is in the little one, the dry flies and stuff of that nature. I have a tyer on my team who specializes in the large streamer world, and at our shop we have the larger game changer type articulated material that we bring in and has that bushiness that you need to push water, to move that back end. But the material is just second to none also with the flash and color. But it's kind of a new procedure. We are wanting to get as big as we can. And so it's kind of, we have hooks that are bigger and bigger that we're just kind of experimenting with. So if you wanted to bring something to the table, we would be more than happy to accommodate a let's try it out.
Well, Mark and I were talking a little bit because I tried to make a couple questions up for us, and the big concern with depth fishing a deep water reservoir like Raystown Lake is, of course, getting down to the depths, the strike range, we might say, for lake trout. And even in the spring, whenever they're all through the column, I would still say that the ideal strike range should be 20 feet to 25 feet or even deeper. So the question came up is the method of presentation. I'm thinking we're beyond rod and reel when we're going that deep, unless we specifically made a heavy jig head and then tied, you know, whatever material to it, but it would be a vertical jigging presentation. But that's where my mind went immediately. Like, instead of casting with a fly rod, is to use something for vertical jigging. But there's also a trolling option. Do you have any thoughts on like the method of presentation?
I think my first thought initially, only because of the depth, you're down deep. They're cold water. I mean, there's no, and you're gonna have to probably troll. So really, we're replacing, if you're running however many you're bait rigged up originally, you could replace every one of your bait rigs with a potential fly that is going to move and have a bigger, bolder look. And and the material that you make with them can be strong, that's not going to compress, so it's going to stay fishy, you know, and then allow for the color. It can look as, you can make it as big as your hand. I mean, we're talking, you can make a fish with a fly. And so there is answers to making big fins and making big fish. I mean, the streamers are incredible. We're talking you can put a smell. I mean, if you want a rainbow trout, people are coming into my shop I've never been asked. I should probably go fishing more to go catch just rainbow trout if I can stock trout in my shop here to the bay side of the world, because they want to fish with rainbow trout. And so if we could put you with, 7-8 inch trout lure, and if you want a 12-inch trout, we could get you a 12-inch trout lure, double, articulated and, double thing. And it could be, it looks like a fly, and get it down there and fish. And all you're doing is saving money in the long run. You may spend the more money initially if it's tied on right and you don't lose it. You're going to catch fish all day long with this imitation that's going to slay all day. The challenge is weighting something is so heavy, like your other things, that if you want to cast something down there with a fly line, you can use a full sinking tip. I mean, they make them, like basically throwing a piece of lead at the end of your line and that's like it's going down. So then you're in a jigging, but probably still going to need troll, because at that point, or stripping in some nature, because at 20 feet down, what angle are you at? Because you're stripping, you're not, there's no verticalness. You're at a 90-degree angle at any point in time, because if you've thrown out, the sinking line is sinking towards you.
That'd be fun.
I'm gonna put Jeff Blood's rods to the test for sure.
I did have one of my questions here for. I know your shop's great. I've walked through it, and it's striking when you walk in. You might not know it because you work in it, but it's beautiful. It's colorful. It's laid out in a way that's easy to navigate and stuff. You have rods and reels. You've got live bait, and one of the things I wrote down here is it's really about your opinion now, and it is tying versus buying. There's an innumerable amount of flies that are ready tied, ready for the stream, ready for the water. And you also have tables set up to do custom tie jobs too.
Sure.
So tying versus buying, which one do you prefer and which one do you recommend?
So I meant as far as they always say, if you're tying to save money, that's not what you're going to do. I bought a fly shop. After I started tying, that didn't save a dime. But I will tell you that the satisfaction, though, is the challenge. Is that whenever you tie something up and you catch something that you feel like there's an end result that you have, I can survive. I don't know. It's like whenever you went hunting, I know I keep going back to the hunting thing, but there's such a connection to. Because there's a predatory fishing thing, we're going after something. Like there's a target. There's a aim, go, and retrieve. And so so this mindset of I can survive by now. I can catch this on my own. I've done this. If they're closed, if I'm closed, I don't need me. I could tie up the night before and go fishing. Now that doesn't say that I'm unneeded if you don't know how to tie. Can you not, the buying aspect of things and still have the same satisfaction, because the fishing part is that there's no need to tie your own fly and have a satisfaction of catching fish fly fishing, because fly fishing is still I don't make my own I don't do anything with my own making my own arrows. I don't do anything. I buy it all, right? I don't do anything. I buy it all, and I go hunting that night before, I do nothing except for just go hunt, and I enjoy it, and I love it, right? I enjoy the process. So it's kind of one of the things where it's like, whenever it's like how is my lifestyle versus is this what I just do? Because if I become enthralled with fly fishing, now I eat, sleep, drink, and I want to do what I want to do. And I might not have the time and energy, but I can still know everything. It's still my lifestyle, but I don't tie. I can still do both. You know, it's like it's just kind of like one of the things where it almost becomes a hobby, but also like it becomes an itch. It's one of them things where it's an itch. I think that some fly guys, they fly fishing and I don't have a care. I will say that most times that I talk to the guys that fly fish and they don't ever have a desire to tie, there are a lot of bass topwater guys and streamer fishermen. But the guys that they go they follow the hatches and they go, man, I just never had the time. And I listen to them talk, and the way they say it, it's like they feel like they missed their chance to do something that they really wish they would have done. It's like the train left, and they're still at the station. It's like all the vices of all the world were on the caboose, and it's like, man, I don't have the time. I don't have kids, I don't have energy. It's like what you don't realize is that the mental health. I now tie for whenever somebody brings me an order. I don't have the ability to tie. I don't tie to go fly fishing for myself anymore. So now when somebody comes in, they say, "Hey, can you print an order in?" I remember I needed a mental health tie, and so this guy's order for a dozen ties had live legs. I mean, and not to say that whenever I do an order, they don't look good. But this guy's order was so on point, like I had to pretend they were my ties because I needed to sit down and relax. They needed to just zone out. They needed to decompress like nothing else was there, like, because that's what it does. It allows me to, because you have to slow down, because if you don't slow down to tie, it's gonna look like crap. And not to say that ugly flies don't catch fish, because they do. I mean, and a bead and some wrap with some thread is going to catch a fish. I mean, we know squirmy, wormy, a piece of plastic is going to, a cigarette butt on a hook is going to catch a fish sometimes. You know, we know that they eat stupid things. They'll eat the bobber instead of the hook, the worm. So the thing of the worm. So there's a lot of, the recommendation is that, what do I recommend? I recommend not thinking that I have to buy my flies because I can't tie, at least if you come to my shop. Because if you want to tie, and you came in and you go, hey man, like, I don't have any stuff. And you're like, I want to tie. Cool. Like, so if you let's talk, you know, let's figure this out. Let's figure out if you actually want to invest in it, right? Because it's like an investment. If this is your heart's desire, this is not advice. Like at the end of the day, like if you feel like you missed your boat, like if me and you are like, man, like now is one of the times, like. Sit down, like good lord, you got a half hour. Like I'll get you a tie, a squirmy wormy here. I mean, like if you can cross over, you will get this. I promise you. I taught my daughter how to do this. I promise you. We'll get you. If God's forsake, we'll glue it. By the end of the day, we'll make sure it's stuck. And you're gonna go home with this fly. You're gonna be like, man, I tied a fly. We're good. I don't even gotta go. I don't even gotta tie. I can buy it for my flies for the rest of my life. Let's have fun. Yeah, show up. So I just basically would say that if whatever you need, show up. That's mine. Because you don't need to tie to go fly fishing, at least in my shop. You don't even need to buy flies to go fly fishing in my shop. You just need to come to my shop. You know what I mean? Really? You know what I mean? You just need to come show up and be like, yeah, I want to go fishing. It's like, yeah, man, me too. Here you go. Like, go fishing for me. You know what I mean? Like, God has blessed me. And for much is given, much is required. There'll be a day that we talk about the OGs. When we're all at the top, we're all going to be there. You know what I mean? That's going to be the fun part. And I always tell people, you know, when we're all there, it'll be fun, but I'll be fishing. So, you know, whoever's fishing with me will be fishing. But that's the thing. It's like you don't have to you know, fishing, it's a community. Like, you have done a great job, Randall, of making fishing a community again. People have come to my shop because they have connected me with you and your YouTube channel. YouTube and YouTubers that are here tonight, thank you for what you do, because it changes the community of fishing and the industry of our art. What you do with this is an art. It changes because what I do with fly fishing, it's an art. Everything that we do in the industry, is an art. I mean, there's anything you do is an art form. Like that, it's what you do. Like, you're putting your hand, like it's an art, it's a masterpiece. And when God when He knitted you together, put you like you're the masterpiece. You know what I mean? Like I tell people all the time, like, it's turning a mess into a masterpiece. That's basically what I do. Is I take a fly and I take this big old mess of dubbing and his feathers and all that stuff, and then we make it into a masterpiece. And sometimes it looks like a masterpiece, sometimes it doesn't, right? But we usually make the video with the one that looks like a masterpiece. But I can tell you that the times in my life that I have allowed myself to slow down and I put God in the mix more and allowed Him to be the one that guided the extra turns, the fly comes out really well, and it fishes better, and I enjoy the process, and and that's the whole thing. Is that fly fishing for me? I went the other day, and I didn't catch any fish, but what it did for me is it reminded me why I go fishing. I was reminded why I go fishing, and why I don't go fishing anymore too. See, fishing is a reason we go fishing, because we're always usually trying to get away from something. Not always. We're always trying to escape something. Like I had a rough day at work, I'm going fishing. Had a long week, I'm looking forward to go fishing in a week, I need to get away, I'm going fishing. It's always the moment to relax and get away. I'm going fishing. And I realized that I used to spend 10 hours on the streams 6 days a week. 60 hours on the streams a week. And then work 40 hours sometimes to a job. I mean, I haven't worked as a job. You think, how did you do that? I don't know how I did that sometimes. I really don't. I mean, it sounds impossible. Because there's 18 hours a day. Well, I was just me. You know what I mean? Like, you can do that when you're single. You just live on the water. You know what I mean? That's all you did. It doesn't matter if it rains. Just live there. But what I realized was that when I went the other day, is that I wasn't catching anything, and I wasn't needing to be there either. It was really weird. I was enjoying the scenery, and I was relaxing. I needed to be there. I needed to be there because I needed to relax. But I didn't need to be there because I needed to relax and get away from anything. We all need to get away and relax and be able to have moments to be able to, right? But not to the extreme where if you're running to something. And so if you're going and running and running and running, and that's 60 hours, you're not maybe an extremist, but I mean, if you spend 10 hours at least at one day, I mean, so like 6 hours here, and I'm extremely, we're fishing, we're telling tales here. You know what I mean? It was this big, guys, 60 hours. You know what I mean? Come on. No, you always got to tell the tales. It's fishing. But reality is the fact is that I'm there and I go, I'm at the shop and I used to tell people, I'm the last word before you go fishing. I'm the last time I pray for my guys to come in and anybody wants, needs the last word. And really weird, they come in and they start telling me everything that's going on in their life. I mean, just unleashing. I was a counselor for 20 years, but it's okay. I mean, but they tell them to. And it's like, and then the next thing out of their mouth is, I don't know why I tell you that. I don't even know why I said that to you. Because whenever you walk through, the atmosphere was different. The Holy Spirit was there, and it allowed you to feel at peace, so you were able to. And so then I can be able to give you a word, to be able to go and be able to have a moment on the water and be able to relax in a way that you're not running to the water to be able to get away from something, so that you can go out in the water and do what I did on Wednesday and actually go relax. And so whenever I was out there the other day, I realized, I go, man, I don't need to fish anymore. And it really bothered me that I didn't need to fish anymore. Not that I didn't love fishing, but then I had to realize, I go, I really love fishing. I had to fall in love with fishing again, because you can resent fishing too from serving people fishing all the time. I watch people fish every single day. I serve people fishing. And not that I don't love it, because I serve them. And I don't care about the fishing. Remember, it's not, I really gave up on not caring about fishing. I accept that I don't fish. But at that moment on Wednesday, I realized that I didn't need to fish. And that all those moments were the fact that I kept going and saying for the last 2 years that I gave up fishing and I don't fish anymore, it was that I don't need to fish anymore. And so it's not that I don't fish anymore, it's that I don't need to fish anymore. It's not that I don't love to fish, it's just that I don't run and I gotta love, and I love it. Because I didn't love fishing, I needed to fish in order to just feel okay. And it sounds weird, but that's what it was.
Peace and Lord.
Yeah, but it's one, and thank God, praise Jesus, truly. But and one of the things was that whenever I got to that moment, I was like, you know what? That's why the shop and God doing the last things that He's doing in our transition is that, and even in the last last couple months, truly, is that repositioning things to bring it to a place of, we are a ministry. You know, we gave God shop day one, and from that, we serve people. And we serve fishermen. And there's a reason why Jesus called His first 3 disciples they were fishermen. And, the heart of a fisherman is to go after that one fish. And Jesus knows that. He goes and leaves the 99 to go after the one sheep. So that's the mindset that we do at that shop. And He always sends me the one, and the one always falls through. Why? Because he's going fishing. Peter, when he denied Christ, what he did, what does he do? He goes fishing. There's nothing else to do in the world when your life is going to. You go fishing. Even if you don't catch anything, you just go fishing. Because there's hope. There's hope at the end of the line. There's hope. But there's hope in Christ. There's hope in Jesus. And that's my hope. And so, you come to my shop, and one, you can get a free fly. You can go fishing. But you can get prayed for, you get hope. I mean, you'll find hope. But you'll find a relationship, not a religion. It's different. It's just different. And it's what's changed my entire perspective of what fishing is. Being a fisher of men. What He said, is that He says, follow me and I'll make you a fisher of men. Catching people's souls and bringing them in and changing their perspective of just how they see life and that what they're running from and what they're running to, and helping them maybe see one who can just give them peace. And and maybe they don't have to go fishing to relax. They can actually relax while fishing.